What's up, guys? It's your boy Liffy here. Just wanted to do a quick stat guide and review for the new Marvel Avengers game. I will tell you, I've been having a lot of fun on this game, despite I know there's some haters out there, people saying it looks boring. It is a lot of fun. I'm very curious to see what the end game looks like. I just got there, like I just beat the campaign, but with the gear, things have been kind of confusing, right? So I had to break this down. I had to do some research of my own, and I just made a little quick cheat sheet, if you will, to kind of break down what each stat means, as well as their impact, right? So I think some of the testing behind this is still to be determined. But I want you guys to just take a look at the screen real quick, and we're just gonna kind of go over this. So on your stat sheet in game, you are going to see these four up here: melee rating, range rating, defense rating, and heroic rating, right? So these are the main four primary ones the game groups it for you by. However, I don't think these ratings are good. I don't think they give you the full picture, and here's why. And we'll delve into this a little bit more. So melee rating, for example, is scaled off of might, valor, and proficiency. Okay, if you look up here at the top, might, I don't have them in order. Might, proficiency, and valor, right? So proficiency and valor, let's just look at those two real quick for melee rating, right? Well, and I put a note down here at the bottom about this too. What happens if you have all valor, you stack all valor, right? So your heroic effectiveness is gonna go up as well. However, your crit damage is gonna go up. But if you look at proficiency, what scales crit chance? Proficiency scales crit chance, right? So, as in all video games, really high crit damage is good, but you gotta have some sort of crit chance to go with it. All right, so that's just an example of what I'm giving you, but let's just go through it real fast. So melee rating is scaled off of might, valor, and proficiency. All right, might, if you find any gear pieces with might on them, they're going to scale your melee damage exactly 1-for-1, basically, essentially, and your ultimate heroic charge, which is your two trigger buttons if you're on console. I do play on computer, but I do play with the console controller. I feel like the game is much smoother that way. All right, precision scales your range damage and your assault heroic charge, which is your R1, I guess, if you're on controller, right? And then you have your support one on L1. So precision scales range damage and assault's heroic charge. Okay. Proficiency scales crit chance and perk chance. I'm gonna get into perk chance in a second because it's very weird, and I feel like there's a lot more testing to be done here. Let me not highlight these. Valor scales heroic effectiveness and crit damage. So I can see Valor being really good. When it says it scales heroic effectiveness, I don't think we really know exactly what that means, right? I mean, all of your special abilities are your heroic abilities, right? But do they scale with your level as well? Still think there's some testing here. So I don't know if Valor is good in that sense, right? We'll find out soon enough if it's good once people start getting maxed out and things like that. Is scaling heroic effectiveness where it's at, or can you scale crit chance and crit damage, and then while you're doing damage with your ultimate, that route is better, you know what I mean? So we'll see there. Resolve scales your willpower. So willpower in this game is essentially your health, okay? And resolve also scales health recovery, okay? So if you look down at the bottom when we're talking about resolve, that's only going to scale your defense rating, which makes sense because those two stats go into defense essentially, right? That's how they're labeled. So So what's weird in this game, willpower is your health, okay? And intrinsic skill or value is your mana, if you will, right? Like that's holding like right trigger. So if you're on Miss Marvel and you hold right trigger and you start attacking, she has increased effectiveness and she can kind of like auto dodge stuff. When you're with Hulk and you hold right trigger, he has like increased armor while you're still attacking, which is a pro tip, by the way. Took me hours to really start utilizing right trigger, which is your intrinsic mana, if you will, is what it's called in the game. All right, willpower is health. A very important note. Resilience scales your armor and your support heroic charge. The support heroic charge is your L1, your left bumper or trigger bumper, I guess is the right word. And as at the bottom of the screen, you can see, okay, when you have a piece of gear that has resilience on it, it's going to scale defensive rating and heroic rating, right? But you have to realize, like, okay, it's scaling defensive rating and heroic rating, but I'm only getting armor and support heroic charge from it, okay? So, like, that's where this gets granular. Intensity, I don't know if this one's good yet. I imagine it very much is late game. Scales your stun and status meter damage as well as resistances. All right, and that goes into your heroic rating when you look at the four bars up here. So you can see on my screen, I just have a Captain America up here. He's level 9. I got the game on in the background. This game performs really bad, so like I don't know. I'm scared to record directly. So you can see his melee rating and his ranged rating. Like right now, his ranged rating is the highest, which is probably not a good idea. Like he throws a shield, yeah. So what goes into ranged rating? Like let's take a look at that. Let's dig deeper. Okay, ranged rating is precision, valor, and proficiency. Okay, so we can even go up here and say, okay, precision is ranged damage and assault heroic charge. Well, okay, maybe ranged damage I might not really need, but what is my assault heroic charge looking like? Because that's my R1, which is strong, which is technically like a ranged ability on him, right? Or valor, right? What if my valor is really, really high? So crit damage and heroic effectiveness. Okay, that's not bad. Even though we're looking at Captain America, he has a high ranged rating. I don't like the way they label this, right? And this is my whole point. So he has a high ranged rating, but what does, if you look at Valor, both of these are really good regardless of if I'm playing ranged or not. Regardless of if I'm playing a ranged character or not, or regardless if I'm playing a ranged play style, stacking Valor could still be effective. I think that's the important takeaway, right? But Valor is going to go into ranged rating, which is weird. Okay, proficiency, perk chance, and crit chance. All right, so, okay, that's good. Crit chance, yeah. Okay, so perk chance is one that I'm very curious to see how this plays out as far as scaling and testing. I did a little bit of item swap to take a look at this, and it's really, really weird. So perk chance is what you see on the screen over here to the left. You got like in his, what is this, his helmet, I guess, if you will. Lightweight pulse insert. So 35% chance at a light combo finisher triggers a stun damage explosion. Okay, so this is perk chance. The higher the proficiency, the higher the chance is here. So when I was a little bit lower level, I tested this, and you can see the words down here. I took an item that had 3 more proficiency, okay? Like, see, I don't even have any on it directly. He must just scale. Or his stats. So, I took an item with 3 more proficiency on Miss Marvel, and it literally only raised my perk chance by 0.1%. 0.1%. So that being said, I would imagine that it's not very good. And even right here, 35% chance is a really high chance, in my opinion, for most games, right? So I would not see the need to stack perk chance. However, stacking proficiency, you get crit chance with it. So I think that's why the developers like kind of gave you the best of both worlds there, because getting crit chance is always great in any game typically. So in this case, you know, you get a little bonus with it, right? We will see which stats are better in the long run, but I think an important takeaway, if you look at the orange on the screen with Valor, right? If you stack heroic effectiveness and crit damage, this goes into 3 of your ratings. Valor goes into 3 of your ratings, which is melee, ranged, and heroic. But you got to keep in mind, Valor only affects certain stats, even though your ratings are gonna get higher. All right, boys. So don't pay pay attention to your rating, but remember and look deeper. Like if you go into here and you look at your stats, you need to look at this stuff as well. Right? And determine what's important. Like right here, he has no resolve, right? So I mean, I'm just putting the highest gear that he has on right now, so I'm not even paying attention to this really as he's like leveling up. But I would imagine later in the game, like, we don't want all this range damage. We might want more might, especially if we're playing Hulk. You know, maybe more resilience, but resolve as well. You know, that's your health pool. So as we scale the difficulty up, you know, that's probably pretty important. I'm pretty sure these artifacts are going to be extremely vital to this play. I just found this bad boy, and 10 Valor and 10 Might on this in and of itself is pretty significant. So yeah, you can, once you hover over these, you can also see your stats here. So I'm going to continue adding to the spreadsheet. You guys let me know what you have found out, what works, what doesn't. Let me know if you want me to add anything to this. Don't forget, we stream over on Twitch every single day. So here's where we test these kind of things. Follow me over on Twitch, LIFY. Follow, like, subscribe, boys. We will cut it there. Thank you guys very much. Take it easy. Peace, peace, peace.